Hold up. Started
In
over. 30
2000,
minutes, chat. Lock it in. Crazy ass. Now, for real, crazy. Lock it in. 30 minutes, bro. Grandma realizes she's been caught after killing spree. You know, I'm doing the opening again. Fuck it. Let's get right into it.
18, two women meet for drinks at a bar in Fort Myers, Florida.
Type shit.
One invites the other to her hotel room, completely unaware that she's in the presence of a killer.
Or when you're traveling up to the Courtney Cycle, they're all these parties. And my feet are so big, my shoes.
This encounter sets off a chilling chain of events, linking their meeting to a gruesome crime 1,000 miles away.
1,000
now,
miles.
Investigators across state lines must work together in a race against time to put an end to the ruthless crime spree before the killer strikes again.
You're gonna find a body there. Somebody better look.
The following report is based on police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. On April 9th, 2018, dispatchers in Lee County, Florida receive a call from a motel manager with reports of a chilling discovery.
911, what is emergency?
Yes, this is at Marina Village, Snug Harbor down in Fort Myers Beach, and there's a dead body in one of the units.
Bro, putting someone down in a hotel is crazy, bro. Like, at the hotel, like, you just ain't got no morals. You just don't give a fuck, bro.
The body's covered in towels, and there's blood in there.
The manager explained that several units were experiencing a plumbing issue, and every other unit had been checked except for room 404.
When I walked in there, I said, front desk, and no one answered, and the master bedroom was closed, and all the stuff was there, so I didn't want to interrupt thinking there was nothing there, but my boss said, no, go in and make sure, because there could be in that particular bedroom. So I went back up, and I opened up the master bedroom, and the door to the bathroom was closed with towels on the outside of it. So when I went to open up the door, something was blocking it, and I got scared.
Too afraid to investigate alone, the manager asked residents in the neighboring rooms to peek
No,
inside.
she put towels at the
Brave
bottom of
volunteers
it, bro.
came
Why is
forward
she
to
trying to
help,
hide the
unaware
smell?
of the nightmare waiting for them on the other side of the door.
No, that's actually
There
crazy,
was
bro.
a towel against the door. The door was partially open. We tried to push on it, and we were hitting something. So I looked around the door, and she's laying on the floor with towels over her, and she was bleeding. You could see blood under her towel. The towel looked to be under her head. That's all I could see.
Yo,
Officers quickly
what?
arrived to find a woman lying on the bathroom
Two
floor
Fly, this shit
with what appeared to
crazy,
be
gang.
2 gunshot wounds. A towel had been draped over her body, and the air conditioning was
Wait, they
lowered
say
to
gunshot
a frigid
wounds?
temperature of 60.
Did they say gunshot wounds?
Men lying on the bathroom floor with what appeared to be 2 gunshot wounds.
Nobody heard
a towel
this?
had been draped over her body, and the air conditioning was lowered to a frigid temperature of 61 degrees.
Yo.
The guest bedroom showed signs of use, and multiple wine bottles, along with dishes piled in the sink, indicated another guest may have been staying there. Whoever it may have been was nowhere to be found. Police discovered that room 404 was rented by 59-year-old
So she has an
Pamela
alias, bro.
Hutchinson,
She's got another
who
person.
was captured on surveillance checking into the Marina Village condominium 6 days ago on April 3rd.
Barely made it by the bell. Pamela Hutchinson. How are you today? Good. Good. Right, the traffic was. Did your driver's license and a credit card?
Pamela reaches into a small silver purse, which was later discovered in her motel room. However, her credit cards and identification were missing. More importantly, she checks into the motel alone, raising questions about who was in the room with her.
Facts.
Searching for answers, investigators continue reviewing the
Yep,
tapes.
peep the cameras,
unaware
nigga,
of
peep the
unnerving
cameras.
mystery that's
They better
about to
lock it in.
unfold. At 3:44 p.m., Pamela pulls into the parking lot of Marina Village in a white Acura with Florida license plates. Shortly after checking in, Pamela exits the elevator and heads to room 404 by herself. However, the following day, she's no longer alone. As she approaches the elevator at 8:13 p.m. on April 4th,
Why are they not showing us what Pamela looks like? I feel like normally they show us what the killer looks like. Why are they showing us who died, bro? That's kind of fucked up, I feel like.
she's now
I don't know, I
accompanied
might
by
be
another
wrong, but
woman
nah,
who
too,
bears
like,
a
this shit
striking
crazy.
resemblance to Pamela. They appear about the same age, height, and build.
Hey, what did you do? Stay out all night, Pam, and then sleep all day because you don't have any fun? Yes. And I have to sleep all day.
They're seen again the following day at 12:45 a.m. on April 5th. entering the elevator and once again heading toward the room.
Okay, so they were friends, bro. So she was all buddy-buddy with her?
No, I like that.
Too Lone to Fly says if nobody heard Rat, she probably shot her with a pillow over the barrel of the gun, then
Oh,
shot.
she probably did do it with a pillow. I'm thinking she's like buttering her up right now, trying to make it seem like they're all friends and shit.
Further investigation revealed that Pamela was traveling to Fort Myers Beach for a funeral to be with her friend, who was scattering the ashes of her late husband.
Okay,
The friend last saw Pamela at lunch on Wednesday, April 4th, and later received a text saying she'd extended her stay to April 5th. However, when she sent a text to Pamela at 10 p.m. on Thursday, she received no response. Surveillance footage shows the unknown woman meeting with Pamela at a restaurant on April 5th at 5:14 p.m. They share a high five, engage in lively conversation, and have a few...
Now, this is the part of investigations that I don't understand. Well, like, I understand, but, like, how do they find this, bro? This isn't where the body was found, you know what I'm saying? Not the building, no nothing. This is a random bar that they met at. Like, this is some crazy
drinks at the
investigative
bar.
work.
Over 2 hours later, Pamela pays for her meal with a credit card, while the other woman pays in cash. They leave the restaurant at 7:43 p.m. and are seen exiting the elevator and heading toward Pamela's room together. Pamela would never be seen alive again. The answers to what happened to Pamela are with the other woman, but she is now missing.
Yep.
As investigators review more footage, they note that on April 5th at 8:30 p.m., just 45 minutes after leaving the restaurant together, the unknown woman emerges from the room alone. Officers note
So she's the killer. Okay, I thought the other woman was. This is low-key crazy now. This is kind of tough. I ain't gonna lie. She's getting a
she
little heavy.
appears distraught, upset, and possibly crying. As they continue observing the footage, the woman's next actions leave investigators deeply suspicious of her involvement.
Yeah, she said
On the
that she
morning
didn't
of
have any
April 6th
friends.
At 6 a.m., the suspect heads to the elevator carrying the same purple luggage bag that Pamela had been seen with earlier. 2 hours later at 8:30 a.m., a woman claiming to be Pamela extends her stay for 3 additional days. She provides a credit card over the phone, but oddly, the card doesn't match the one used for the reservation. Minutes later, the suspect begins making several trips to and from the parking lot. Pamela's car is seen backing into a space in front of a white Cadillac Escalade. The suspect then begins to transfer
I'm
items
sorry. Look at the way she backed into this spot. You are a horrible driver. Get out. Get her off the
trips to and
streets.
from the parking lot.
What the
Pamela's
fuck?
car is seen backing
Stop,
into a
go.
space in front of a white Cadillac Escalade.
Nah, bro.
The suspect then begins to transfer items from the Escalade to the Acura. The Escalade leaves the parking lot at 12:42 p.m., but the suspect returns on foot nearly an hour later at 1:32 p.m., where she stays for several hours. Finally, on April 6th at 1:51 p.m., she heads for the parking lot and is seen driving away in Pamela's white Acura, leaving her body to be discovered 3 days later.
Yo,
The suspect has vanished without a trace, and as there's no record of her staying at the motel, her identity remains
literally
a mystery.
no. What? Keep in mind, chat, the name of the vid is Grandma Realizes She's Been Caught After Killing Spree. So is this one of them?
Investigators are left with many haunting questions. Who is this woman, and what role could she have played in Pamela's
literally,
death?
who is she?
The
We have
answers
no
may
idea
lie
who
over
she is.
1,000 miles away, where an
It's like
unfolding
I'm
investigation
sorry to pause again. I don't condone any of this, but like, she got low. She got low. Child. Like she did this shit, nigga, and
shocking
like it
connections
never
between
happened,
the
bro.
cases,
What the fuck?
far more twisted than anyone could have imagined.
Like it
2
never
weeks
happened.
earlier, on March 23rd, 2018, a call is placed to the Dodge County Sheriff's Office in Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, where uneasy concerns soon lead to an alarming discovery.
Could I speak with a detective possibly? My name's Greg Oswald. We have right up to the point of missing person here. my business partner, and there's seems to be something seriously wrong.
Okay, how so?
Well, I haven't been able to talk to him for
W2
16
fly.
days, and neither of any of the employees.
Yo,
He's
chocolate
never
dropping
done
the
this.
TikTok. Y'all
He's
lock
never
in with
done
me,
this
bro.
in the
We watching
20
this
years
crime
I know
time.
him. He's very involved in our business, hands-on.
Okay, and what is his name?
David Reese.
Greg further explains that the Prairie Waxworms farm is just 100 feet away from David's home, where he and his wife Lois reside. Thomas, the farm's manager, explained their concerns began 10 days prior on March 12th.
Lois come down to the shed and told me that David was sick and he would not be down today, and she also wanted me to take care of the payroll because we get paid every bi-weekly. David having some health issues in the past, I did not think anything of that.
Soon, David's co-workers became suspicious after unsettling differences emerged in their usual communication.
The texts we were getting from his phone were not his texts. It just wasn't Dave's style. Dave didn't abbreviate, didn't punctuate, didn't. You could tell it wasn't him.
Thomas Greg.
That's one thing about text and chat. If you know your friends, bro. Hold on, let me tap with that boy Risky.
What? You shouldn't have gone back to what?
But that's the thing about like our phones and our friends, bro. Like it's crazy how you talk a certain way in person, but we also text a certain way, bro. It's kind of crazy, dog. Like, you can catch someone just by the way they text.
David's text messages seemed to change around the same day Lois began telling others he was sick.
He does talk text. That's what he's always done, you know. And the ones I was getting was like all exclamation marks and commas and dots. And
oh shit!
Thanks abbreviated with an X instead of spelling it out and stuff, you know.
Okay. And he doesn't normally do that.
No, he just text and it spells out the full words.
Despite their concerns, on Monday, March 19th,
he doesn't talk in
8
slang.
days after he was first reported to be sick, Lois assured Thomas that David still had plans to attend a fishing tournament set to take place the following Friday.
March 23rd, I watched the live weigh-in of the Cabela's Masters Walleye Circuit that David was supposed to be at, according to Lois. When they announced David's name, I did not see him, and I became very concerned.
Oh,
he then called Greg, David's business partner, who contacted local police to perform a welfare check on David. Deputy Hoffman from Dodge County Sheriff's Office arrived at the house on March 23rd at 6:49 p.m., but no one answered the door. Through the window, he noticed the television and gas fireplace were on. With nothing seeming out of the ordinary, the deputy left, unaware of the horrifying secret hidden inside the house.
No way, someo's just chilling.
We were so frustrated sitting there talking to these people, because mental health people are going to go out and check, and that guy says, you're going to find a body there. Somebody better look.
Determined, Greg once again calls Bloomington Prairie Police. This time, officers Peterson and Peach returned to the house. One officer boosted the other, lifting him just high enough to peek through the bathroom window. Lying on the bathroom floor was the body.
No fucking way. I guarantee y'all, if this was a black home, they would have been banging on that door and they would have went into there despite whatever, bro. Whoever called or whatever the situation was. It's sad to like kind of say that, but at the same time, it's like, why didn't they think about this before? There's an old person in there. Y'all called to do a welfare check, gang. Go look for that nigga. Go find him, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go find that old man.
Though investigators in Minnesota would have no way of knowing it, the chilling discovery of David's body would soon reveal haunting parallels to Pamela's death in Florida. David was discovered in an advanced state of decomposition, with a green-colored blanket laying over his body, in a similar manner to the towels draped over Pamela.
No way.
He had multiple gunshot wounds to his torso. The window was left open, bringing the temperature in the room to a chilling low of around 30 degrees.
Yeah.
The eerie similarities raise harrowing questions. Is this simply a coincidence or the beginning of a brutal killing spree?
No
With
way.
many questions for David's wife, Lois.
Yo, Renee,
Minnesota
Brody was good. It's
investigators
crime
begin
time
looking
right now,
for her,
baby. We
but
locked
she's
in.
nowhere to be found.
Yo, I wonder if this body is actually hers, bro. This grandma is going crazy with the killing spree.
In an
right
effort
now,
to trace her movements, they review local business surveillance, starting from the last time the couple was seen together. On March 11th, David and Lois both enter their local general store.
There she is.
David
Nah,
walks
it's over,
out
bro.
at 9:01 a.m. and would never be seen on surveillance footage
No, that's
again.
Lois. No, that was Lois.
The following day, Lois
Where's his
explains
wife?
to Thomas that David has fallen ill and would begin using David's phone to text his co-workers. However, as Thomas explains, it was more than the unusual text messages that left him concerned that something was terribly wrong.
We have a money bag in that's where my drive slips go and all our checks from our customers. Okay. I did my route on Friday, yesterday, and I noticed everything was missing out of there. All the checks out of the money bag.
On Monday, March 12th, Lois enters Citizen State Bank, approaching the counter with a check from David's account, written to her in the amount of $1,000. The teller fails to notice that David's signature doesn't match the previous ones on record. Over the next several days, Lois would use David's credit card at several establishments, including a liquor store, Vandal's Family Market, and multiple times at the Woodfire.
How much money is she spending, though? Hold on. We got to peep these. 36, Woodfire Grill. Who's she taking on dates, or is she just big back as shit, bro? This is the only thing she eating. What the fuck? Hold on. Credit. What did she get here? $11. What's all this other shit? 14, 21.
Grill, a restaurant inside Diamond Joe's Casino in Northwood, Iowa, just across the Minnesota border.
Oh, she's a gambler.
Greg
Tell me she's a
Lois
gambler,
about the
bro.
missing checks from Prairie Wax Worms.
Yo, everybody in the Twitch chat, bro. Y'all don't be shy. Say what's up in the chat, baby.
There was checks missing out of the office, so I had to call the county sheriff, report stolen checks. And if you know anything, let me know. So she called me back in a couple hours and said, well, I got the checks. Dave sent me down to get them. They're up. I got them.
Yo, Zach, what's good, brother? So I'm back. What I missed? She caught another body, bro. Grandma caught another body. What's good, Zach? We doing some crime time right now. As Grandma realizes she's been caught after killing spree. First body she caught, no evidence of who she was. Second one, we still have no clue who she is technically. Like we're going through the whole spree, bro. We still have no idea who this bitch is.
Put Dave on the phone.
Yo, tally it out.
She says, Dave, don't roll over, and then hung up.
On March 16th, Lois would return to the Citizen State
Crazy
Bank
ass
with another
grandma.
check from
No, for
David's
real.
account, written to herself for $2,500. The teller once again fails to notice the signature and gives her the funds in cash. As her shopping spree continued, Lois walked into a Fantastic Sam's hair salon in Austin, Minnesota.
No
on
way
March
she got a
17th.
weave, bro. Tell me she got a fucking
She
perm.
was going to be going out for St. Patrick's Day.
You love some crime? Yep, lock in, baby. We locked in.
Diamond Joe Casino, so she wanted her hair to look like Peggy Bundy and have it nice and big.
3 days later, on March 20th, Lois is once again spotted on camera at the general store. This
She's just
time
living the
wearing
life,
same
bro.
hoodie that David was wearing on the last day he was seen alive.
No,
At this
same
point,
jacket.
David hasn't been seen in 9 days. Over the next 2 days, Lois returns to the bank, depositing over $8,000 into David's account at the drive-thru before transferring the money back into her account.
I'm just in awe that they would take a check from one company to Prairie Wax Worms.
Whoa, why is she moving so well?
About 12 grand minimum, 14,000.
Okay, so they were actually the company checks?
Yep. Well, not Prairie Wax Worms.
Bro, no, grandma moving different. Grandpa is missing and dead for 9 days. She's going to the shop, stealing the checks, cashing them into his account, and transferring the money, bro. Like, nah, she's moving different.
It was our
She's moving
checks who had
different.
made payable to Prairie Wax Worms.
Lois would hit the Diamond Joe Casino again on March 22nd,
Bro.
where her unusual behavior caught the attention of a casino regular.
Yeah.
Just kept acting like she was real suspicious on who people were and what was going on, you know? Like she wasn't quite sure of her surroundings, who she could trust and who she couldn't.
Okay. Huh? So paranoid, basically?
Yeah, kind of.
Finally, on March 23rd, when David fails to appear on the fishing tournament's live stream, Lois steps into the Citizen State Bank for a final time. She presents a $7,500 check from David's account, writing spring trip in the memo. After the teller delivers the cash, Lois takes David's white Cadillac Escalade and vanishes.
No
It would later be discovered
way.
abandoned on Fort Myers Beach in Florida.
And she left the
As a
V.
detective, you got any inkling if she's in an area? Do you think she's just... God damn it, I don't know how you get away.
No, nothing so far.
I don't condone this, yo, but she's
Detectives
too
in
good.
Minnesota and Florida have yet to realize the shocking connections between the
same
murders
shit.
of Pamela Hutchinson and David Reese. But a lucky break will soon drive the two separate investigations toward a fateful collision. 3 days before Pamela's murder, Lee County Sheriff's Office in Florida had received a concerning 911 call.
And she's old, bro, so no one's
There's an
checking up on
ATV
these
out for
old people,
Lois
bro.
Reese from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, in Steele County. She just got out of her car at my Florida house. I also live in Blooming Prairie, so I know about the whole thing. She's in a white 05 Escalade. Okay, and if you do some research, it's Steele County, Minnesota, that's trying to find her.
Okay, so she has a warrant, is that what you're saying?
Yes, for the possible murder of her husband and for sure for embezzling charges.
Yeah, bro.
Earlier the same day, the
Her
911
husband
caller,
and another
Tess's
woman.
daughter in Blooming Prairie, received a call from a woman named Stormy Liberty.
Yo, whoa, yo, Storm. Storm, I bet she's not even in the chat, yo.
Tess's friend
That's
and
crazy.
asked for her address. Stormy Liberty was later identified as an alias that Lois used when opening a cell phone account.
Whoa.
She was gone by the time police arrived.
Storm, that's your
and just
name.
3 days later, Pamela's life came to a tragic end.
Yo, so she clapped Pamela after she clapped her husband. Stormy, I'm saying, Zach, you see that, bro? Tally, bro, you see that?
Now, after Pamela's
This
death,
shit
as one deputy
crazy.
reviews the security footage from the Marina Village Motel, he recognizes the woman with Pamela as Lois Reese, based on Tess's 911 call from 3 days ago.
I do rentals, so she had a little notepad like she was going to rent. But that's what I thought. And then she got out, and she saw me. I said, can I help you? And she looked at me, and she said, oh, I'm in the wrong place. And she quick got into her Escalade.
You said it was a 2005 white Escalade?
Yeah, pearl-colored Escalade.
So she
After
got
being
recognized.
in the surveillance footage, Lois is officially named a person of interest in Pamela Hutchinson's murder. On April 10th, investigators in Florida contacted Minnesota law enforcement, requesting a photo to confirm their suspect. And finally, information between the two investigations was shared. With evidence connecting Lois to more than one murder, investigators are left with the chilling question: is she finished, or is she planning to strike again? While following her
She gonna
trail,
do it
those
again.
who knew her begin to share a troubling history with investigators, one that hints at a possible motive for her ruthless actions.
My grandpa passed away and she got her inheritance, and she was so unbelievably bored out there at that house. And the only time she was happy is when she'd have the grandkids out there, and she had them a lot.
Okay.
My kids and my brother's kids were there a lot. If she wasn't at, with us, like her kids or her grandkids, she was probably at the casino. And I had told my
Yo,
dad,
Naya, what's good, Larry? What's good, girl? It's crime time right now.
she was going
Grandma
there.
on a
She's like,
killing spree.
Bria, it's just something for me to do. It's fun, but I don't have a problem. She blew through hundreds of thousands of dollars there. I had no idea it was that bad.
With Pamela's credit cards missing, investigators begin to trace where they may have been used. On April 6th, a woman claiming to be Pamela Hutchinson entered a Wells Fargo and withdrew.
Is that Pamela? How many years later is this? I think it started in 2018.
On April 6th, a woman.
So this is all the same year. This bitch is wild. And you doing okay though? I'm doing pretty good. Big Jet Wilson, that boy Fishy in the TikTok. What's good, brother? What the play's looking like today? I did get some sleep. I slept all night because I was off. You know what I'm saying? I got like 9.5 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? But nah, this bitch, bro, grandma is wild.
Claiming to be Pamela Hutchinson entered a Wells Fargo and withdrew $5,000, as seen in still images.
She don't even
provided
look
by
like
the bank.
Pamela.
The distinctive white hat, sunglasses, and blue shirt
Yeah.
are the same clothes she was wearing in the surveillance footage at Marina Village.
Yup.
So does she have a gambling problem, or?
Oh, absolutely.
So
$400,000.
I knew it. I told y'all she had a gambling problem. I called it. I called it, bro.
Belonged to her dad and brothers and sisters that she was managing.
Did you say 400,000?
Yes, sir.
As investigators continue to follow Lois's trail, Receipts show that she withdrew $1,500 from an ATM
If
on
both cash,
April
they going for
7th,
367.
after
Yeah, what
leaving
you gonna
Marina
hit that?
Village
You
in
gonna hit
Pamela's
my
stolen car.
You gonna hit
How
my
did they make it so
PayPal
she
over
couldn't
in
have any money,
the
do you
you know what
know?
I'm saying?
Well, I think the last
In the
go
bio?
around, you gotta read between the lines with me. This is just conversation between Dave and I know all credit cards were taken away. I know she had no.
Got
no
you tabbed up, monkey. Yo, Freedom, I appreciate you. Daddy W Freedom, yo. W Freedom, how's everything going? I'm pretty good today, though. I've just been chilling. We just got on stream not too long ago. But nah, Fish, you gonna hook that boy up, bro? You gonna hook your boy up?
signature on any of his accounts.
Investigators also discovered that Lois had recently checked into the Hilton Hotel in Ocala, Florida for a day.
Oh, I'm actually
using
with
Pamela's
that. That's a
credit
good
cards
idea,
and
Fish. That's a
forging
good
her
idea.
signature on the room service receipts.
When all the money stuff came up after
What
he
you been up to
realized,
today,
you know,
no,
that
Naya?
she
What you
has
been
a
up to?
bad gambling problem and she went through all that money, like she was put
Chat,
on the
gambling
lockdown,
problems
you know, like she
go
couldn't
too far, bro. Y'all just gotta
have
stop
access to
before
any
it
money,
gets too
and
far.
I told her many times, like, I understand why my dad was doing that. I get that. But I just told her that she should just, you know, like, come live with me or my brother because it
Bro.
wasn't, like, a good situation to be in for either one of them.
Brianna further explains that the financial issues Lois faced as a result of her
Making
gambling
edits. Send some
problem
edits
led
into
to an
the
attempt
to the
to take her
Discord.
own life 2 years
Let me
prior.
see the edits.
My dad found out about something, probably money related, I'm guessing, and he was yelling at her, and I don't know, he said a bunch of
Yeah, now
awful
let's
things
see
to
it.
her,
Come
and
on,
then
let's
he
see it.
left to go to the bank, and she said that she just felt like she just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Sure.
As Brianna continues to explain Lois's financial troubles, she recalls a recent situation involving her disabled sister Kim that landed her in legal trouble.
My mom actually took care of my aunt
Bet.
for like 2 or 3 years. She lived with her, and was
Hey,
really,
Fish, I'll
really,
just give
really
you my
awesome
phone
and,
number.
like, did everything.
It'll be
that she
easier
was
that way. I'll
supposed
just
to,
give you my
and
phone
when
number.
She got into gambling. I think she took some money from my aunt Kim. Okay. They were going back and forth. My mom skipped the court thing. They were gonna.
You'll
her
think
lawyer
about it,
was
Bet
gonna
Naya.
settle
Just
for,
let
like,
us know, man. Send in your
$30,000,
clips
But then
anytime.
my mom, like, her behavior, she just doesn't address anything. She just pretends like it doesn't happen. So she didn't go to court, and because she didn't, they put like a full judgment. So like $100,000 is, I think, that they're trying to get from. Yeah.
Though Lois's alleged gambling history provides valuable insight for the detectives, they still have yet to establish her current
Fish, make that
whereabouts
account
or
right
the
now, because I
driving
might be able to
factor
send you
behind
some
this
right now, bro.
horrific
Just
crime
let
spree.
me know.
With
Because if
Lois's
you running a
location
crazy
and her
play
motives
today, bro,
still
I'm trying to hop in
unclear,
that.
the fear that she may be armed, dangerous, and hunting for a new victim fuels their efforts as they continue following her trail.
Bro, who's she getting
On
this
April
gun
8th,
from?
One day before Pamela's body was discovered, Lois attempted to use Pamela's credit card at an ATM in DeQuincy, Louisiana, but the transaction was
Can't see shit on the TikTok stream. My fault for potting it, y'all. But y'all see what Fishy said on the TikTok? Come over to the Twitch out for the full screen, baby. You know what I'm saying?
declined. Investigators learned that Lois then traveled to another casino in Louisiana and won a $1,500 jackpot. As the interviews continue,
That's
one
nothing
investigator
compared
brings
to
up a
what she's
possible
stolen.
concern
So
that
why
may
is she
make
still
finding
gambling,
Lois
bro?
an even more challenging
There's
endeavor.
no way.
I was just wondering if she was like could make it to where she looked something different with makeup beyond the hair color, but she had some kind of a talent of what do you call the people out?
Oh, makeup artist?
Makeup artist, yes.
But I don't think that, but I think that she was skilled enough with
Say your
makeup
number,
that
but I
she
got
could
you.
make herself look a little different. But I would say
Fish, bro, you've been around the community enough, brother. I'm trusting you,
and
man.
now
I'm
if she's got
trusting you.
time on her hands, she'll be at a casino.
However, Lois's son Billy has a far more grim expectation for how this fugitive search may end.
Based off her past actions, I'd say, I don't know, finding her alive probably isn't very good, as sick as that sounds. Right. She's obviously tried to do it before. I think this is a little bit more serious than that was, spending money.
Right. You think she has any means of doing that, or?
Nah, it's all about the money.
Yeah,
it's all about the money.
At 11:16 p.m. on April 8th, Pamela's stolen Acura is seen traveling westbound on Interstate 10 in Lafayette, Louisiana, and once more on a license plate reader in Texas before the trail goes cold. With Lois continuing to cross state lines, a U.S. Marshals task force takes over the investigation and issues a BOLO for Lois Reese. She's now wanted for 2 murders grand theft auto, financial theft, and identity theft.
Dude,
As the case
she's
gains
in there for
national attention
life.
through widespread media coverage,
She's not
she
coming
earns the
out, bro.
nickname Killer Grandma.
Yep.
News outlets nationwide ask anyone who sees Lois or her vehicle to come forward. When a promising tip brings investigators one step closer to ending her reign of terror, one question remains: can they get to her before she disappears once again? At 6:58 p.m. on April 19th, over a week since she was last spotted on traffic cameras, Lois enters Dirty Al's restaurant on South Padre Island in Texas, just 30 miles from the Mexican border. She lingers upon entering, taking a moment to look at the posted menu near the main cash register. It isn't long before an employee sees Lois and stands watch. As she suddenly makes for the exit.
Bro, she's gone around and she stole all this money, killed all these people, her husband, and damn near 2 other people, and she thinks she not wanted and popular? Bitch, your name Killer Grandma. There's no way she don't know,
The 2 male employees briefly converse before following her.
That's the Florida license plate. Well, she was driving a Florida license plate. Where? Right here, that white car. That couldn't hurt.
He knows that's her, bro. He knows that's her.
Contacted. Police arrive at 7:50 p.m.
Take a hit, yo, I got you, Storm.
She left the building. It seems as though she slipped away once more. It's a devastating blow to their search, but in a shocking twist of events, while officers wait for someone who can show them the surveillance footage, they begin to search the conjoined parking lot and spot the stolen car at the restaurant next door. They enter the restaurant and find Lois sitting at the bar, talking with an unknown male, but wait for backup before moving in for the arrest. At 8:25 p.m. on April 19th, multiple officers move in and finally make an arrest.
It's about time, bro. The police should have been pulled up on Grandma.
With Lois now in custody, one chilling question remains unanswered. What drove Lois to commit not 1, but 2 brutal acts of murder?
Lois? What's your last name? Yeah. I'll come out. Right now, you're going to be detained. One detained.
She's being mad cooperative, though, Chad, low key.
Okay, no. According to the man she was with, he and his friend met Lois at Padre Rita's Grill.
Ooh, bro, she was about to catch another body. Oh, gosh, she was about to kill that couple, bro.
She was staying next door at the Motel 6.
Gosh, she was about to kill
a
that couple.
Searching for a place to live in South Padre. The jaw-dropping evidence in her motel room will later be found in a search by investigators. For now, the man explains that he and a friend went with Lois on April 17th for drinks before dropping her off at her motel. Both men found Lois to be completely normal, never witnessing any emotional breakdowns or outbursts, with one mentioning she was even flirting with him.
See, she showed no signs, Chad, no red flags, bro. Look how calm she is. She old, bro. Old people don't care about getting locked up. They don't give a fuck. That's why they be crashing out.
Okay, this one right here. Okay, it's not really your car. Okay, you wanna run her real quick? It's out of Minnesota. It's in there.
It's out of Minnesota?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but the warrant I do believe might be out of Florida. I didn't get a chance to even look up our stuff because it was like.
I don't know how that is.
Lisa, if you wanna.
I'll get my cuffs back when we get there.
Just go ahead and grab your unit and follow him to the station.
When news of her arrest broke, a woman came forward with a harrowing story. She told investigators that while eating alone at a restaurant on the island, she befriended a woman who identified herself as LaDonna, who was recently widowed and spending time away from her family to grieve. They met again for drinks on April 15th. The woman allowed LaDonna to come home with her, letting her stay in her guest bedroom. They had plans to meet again on Friday, April 20th, just one day after her arrest, where she learned LaDonna was Lois Reese.
Yo.
When investigators from Minnesota and Florida
How's she gonna go with a black ass name like LaDonna? Where's she, bro?
They fly to
Where's she
Texas
stop
to meet
at in
with
the
Lois
ghetto,
for an
nigga? She probably went
interrogation.
to like LA
However,
or something.
Lois
nigga.
invokes Miranda rights and
ATL
asks for
somewhere.
a lawyer. Eventually, Lois will break her silence and recount the shocking details of her final moments with David and her motives for pulling the trigger. For now, Lois raises an unusual concern.
The process for getting you out of here takes a little bit of time, and you got to get transported back to Florida. So I imagine in a couple weeks, we'll see you back in the Lee County Jail, and then from there you'll be eventually going back to Minnesota to deal with the charges up there.
Okay.
Do you have any questions of us right now?
Will they put me in a room that has a bed?
I'm sorry?
Will they put me in a room that has a bed or something?
When you come to Florida?
For 2 weeks,
Oh, here?
I'll sit in there.
Her time in Louisiana, nah, for real. Her time in Louisiana must have been different, yo. It must have been
You'll
different.
have to see a judge, I think, for extradition purposes in the morning, a magistrate. And then from there, you'll be going to a sheriff's office where they'll house you until we come pick you up.
And they'll be able to answer some of those questions that you have on the bed. We just don't, we're not
not from here.
So
Oh,
if,
okay.
if you do have some of those concerns,
Well, they just-
when you go downstairs,
I just know it'd be better for my edema and my blood pressure, like
Yeah.
they said.
And probably better if you ate some food too.
Yeah, but it'd be worse if I had to go to the hospital and have an attack. It'd be worse.
Oh, for sure. All right, that's why we're getting you crackers right now.
It's fine.
One final question from Lois leads to a shocking revelation as she learns the truth of just how far her notoriety has spread.
I guess one question I have is, do my kids know I'm alive and here?
Yes. I don't know if you know this or not, but your whole story has been national news. Okay. It broke last night. It broke last night. That,
My poor
you
kids,
were arrested in
bitch.
South Padre.
Bitch, bro, she did not care about her kids. Y'all heard the way she said that? Yo, Angelo, I appreciate the follow on TikTok, buddy. She said, my poor kids, bitch, you're known for the fucking grandma
Your
killer.
whole story has been national news. Okay. It broke last night. It broke last
Bro,
night.
she
that,
don't give
you
a
were arrested in
fuck.
South Padre Island, that you're alive and well.
She don't
and
give
that,
a fuck.
That you were found by the U.S. Marshals and the local police department here. So,
Okay, so they know.
I don't personally know that they know, but I can tell you that every local news media outlet nationwide has picked up the story.
Okay.
Before searching Lois's motel room, investigators spoke with an employee of Motel 6. She says Lois claimed to be a victim of domestic violence, hiding from her husband, who was a cop. When she next saw her, she appeared to be completely different, even dressing more provocatively. During one conversation, she heard Lois say, "I need a sugar daddy," before asking about another customer seen driving an expensive
Oh, she
vehicle,
turned into a
raising
whore.
unsettling questions
Timestamp,
about her
W
future
Storm, appreciate the
plans.
timestamp.
A search of her motel room uncovered a mountain of evidence. Among the discoveries is a white towel wrapped around a pair of sunglasses, previously seen to be worn by Pamela. Lois's distinctive white hat, earlier seen to be worn as she withdrew $5,000 using Pamela's identity, is located on a pile of clothing. They also locate credit cards and checkbooks belonging to both David and Pamela, along with Pamela's luggage. A road atlas
Damn,
is
she
found
kept the
and tucked within
purple
its pages
fucking
is a brochure
luggage.
for a casino in Eagle Pass, Texas. They also
The
uncovered
fit
Pamela's
crazy,
driver's
now the fit
license,
is
and
diabolical,
finally,
bro.
2 loaded firearms.
Not the
With a
OG
mountain of evidence
Blixky.
against her, Lois is extradited to Florida and held without bond to face charges for the murder of 59-year-old Pamela Hutchinson. To avoid the death penalty, Lois pleaded guilty on December 17, 2019 to 1 count of first-degree murder, grand theft of a motor vehicle, grand theft of property, and criminal identity theft.
Bro.
She later returned to Minnesota to face
Lock
charges
her
for the murder
up.
of 54-year-old David Reese. At a hearing on August 11, 2020, in the auditorium of a Minnesota high school, after delays due to coronavirus, she pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and shared with the judge her version of what happened on the fateful night of March 5, 2018. According to Lois, she and David had a heated argument following their grandson's basketball game. She claims David handed her a loaded firearm, encouraged her to turn it on herself and take her own life, saying, "Maybe you will get it right this time." In her own
What?
words, she explains, "He was
Yo,
right in front
Tally
of me,
was good,
and
my
I
boy."
looked right at his heart and I pulled the trigger." However, this is based solely on Lois's account, and David will never have the opportunity to confirm or deny her claim.
No, dead ass.
As for Pamela, Lois never provides a reason for taking her life. For both murders, Lois Reese was sentenced to life in prison without the
I
possibility
told y'all she was
of
gonna do
parole.
life, bro.
She's currently serving both life sentences concurrently at the Shakopee Correctional Facility in Minnesota.
No way, yo.